The late afternoon Arizona sun cast long shadows across Camp Bravo's armory as General Rodriguez made his routine inspection rounds. The desert base, nestled between rugged mountains and endless stretches of sand, hummed with the disciplined activity of America's elite military personnel. Rodriguez, a battle-hardened veteran with 30 years of service etched into the lines of his weathered face, moved through the facility with practiced precision. The armory's fluorescent lights flickered against the polished concrete floors as soldiers methodically maintained their weapons. The familiar sounds of clicking metal, brushing, and quiet conversations created a symphony of military preparedness. Rodriguez had witnessed this scene countless times, but today something caught his attention. In the far corner of the armory, a lone figure sat hunched over a workstation. Sergeant Maya Santos, call sign Phantom, was meticulously cleaning a Barrett .50 caliber sniper rifle. Her movements were fluid, almost meditative, as she worked with the precision of a master craftsman. The weapon, weighing nearly 30 pounds, seemed almost delicate in her capable hands. Maya was 28 years old, with dark hair pulled back in regulation style and intense brown eyes that seemed to calculate distances even in casual conversation. Born in El Paso to a family with 3 generations of military service, she had enlisted at 18, driven by a desire to serve and an innate talent that would soon become legendary. "Sergeant Santos," General Rodriguez called out, his voice echoing slightly in the spacious armory. Maya looked up, immediately standing at attention. "Yes, sir." As Rodriguez approached, his eyes were drawn to something unusual on Maya's uniform. Among the standard ribbons and insignia was a small, specialized badge he'd never seen before. It was dark metal with precise engravings. 3,400 meters. Confirmed kill. The general stopped in his tracks. His extensive knowledge of military records and sniper capabilities made this discovery particularly shocking. The longest confirmed sniper kill in military history was 3,540 meters, achieved by a Canadian Special Forces soldier. But that record was from a different military entirely, and here was an American soldier wearing a badge claiming an almost equivalent achievement. "Sergeant," Rodriguez said, pointing to the badge, "what exactly is that insignia?" Maya's expression remained neutral, but there was a flicker of something in her eyes. Not pride, but a quiet acknowledgement of a burden carried. "Sir, that's a specialized marksmanship recognition for long-range precision shooting. 3,400 meters? Rodriguez's voice carried both disbelief and curiosity. "Sergeant, that would make it one of the longest confirmed kills in military history. Are you telling me you made a shot at over 2 miles? The armory seemed to grow quieter around them. Other soldiers, sensing the gravity of the conversation, continued their work, but with heightened attention to what was unfolding. Maya met the general's gaze directly. "Yes, sir. Operation Desert Falcon, 18 months ago. High-value target elimination in Afghanistan's Kunar province." Rodriguez felt a mixture of skepticism and intrigue. In his 3 decades of service, he had worked with some of the military's most elite snipers. He understood the physics involved in long-range shooting, the countless variables that had to align perfectly for such a shot to be possible. Wind speed and direction at multiple altitudes, air density, temperature gradients, humidity, the Coriolis effect from Earth's rotation, target movement prediction, and ballistic compensation for bullet drop over such an extreme distance. "Sergeant, I need you to understand the magnitude of what you're claiming," Rodriguez said, his tone serious, but not accusatory. "A shot at that distance would require perfect conditions and extraordinary skill. The margin for error would be virtually non-existent." Maya nodded slowly. "I understand your skepticism, sir. The shot required 5 hours of preparation. My spotter, Corporal Jenkins, and I had to calculate wind patterns at 7 different altitude levels. The temperature differential between our position and the target zone was 43 degrees Fahrenheit. We used advanced ballistic software and took into account the Earth's rotation, which at that distance would cause a deviation of approximately 18 inches. Rodriguez studied Maya's face carefully. There was no boasting in her voice, no attempt to impress. She spoke with the clinical precision of someone recounting technical specifications. "The target was a high-priority insurgent leader coordinating attacks against our forward operating bases," Maya continued. "Standard approach would have required a full platoon insertion with significant risk of casualties. Command authorized the long-range solution." As the conversation continued, Rodriguez found himself drawn into the technical aspects of what Maya was describing. Her knowledge of ballistics, atmospheric conditions, and precision shooting was beyond anything he'd encountered, even among the military's most elite snipers. The general looked at the Barrett 50 in Maya's hands. The weapon was designed for extreme long-range engagement, but even its capabilities seemed insufficient for what she was claiming. "What modifications were made to your weapon system?" he asked. "Sir, the rifle was equipped with specialized optics, a Schmidt & Bender 545x56 scope with custom turrets calibrated for extreme range. The ammunition was hand-loaded match-grade, .50 BMG rounds with specific ballistic coefficients. We also used advanced weather monitoring equipment and laser rangefinders accurate to within 1 meter at extended distances." Rodriguez realized he was dealing with something far beyond standard military operations. The level of precision and preparation Maya described suggested involvement in highly classified programs. As the sun began to set over the Arizona desert, casting the armory in golden light, Rodriguez made a decision that would change both their careers. He needed to understand not just what Maya had accomplished, but how such capabilities were being developed and deployed within his command structure. "Sergeant Santos," he said finally, "I want to schedule a demonstration. Tomorrow, 0800 hours at the long-range facility. Can you replicate your capabilities at, say, 2,500 meters? Maya's response was immediate and confident. "Yes, sir. I'll need 2 hours for preparation and environmental assessment." As Rodriguez walked away, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had just discovered something extraordinary. Maya Santos wasn't just a skilled sniper. She represented capabilities that could redefine modern military strategy. The evening desert wind whistled through the armory as Maya returned to cleaning her Barrett 50, her movements as precise and methodical as always. But now, for the first time in months, she wouldn't be working in the shadows. The next morning arrived with the crisp clarity that only desert dawns can provide. Camp Bravo's long-range facility sprawled across a natural valley, with shooting positions carved into rocky outcroppings that offered commanding views of the terrain below. General Rodriguez arrived at 0730. Accompanied by Major Thompson, the base's senior intelligence officer, and Master Sergeant Walsh, the head of sniper training programs. Maya had been at the facility since 0600, methodically setting up her equipment. Her preparation was a study in precision: weather monitoring devices positioned to track wind patterns at multiple altitudes, laptop computers running ballistic calculation software, and her Barrett 50 mounted on a specialized bipod system that allowed for micro-adjustments. "General Rodriguez," Major Thompson said, consulting his tablet, "I've been reviewing Sergeant Santos's classified files overnight. Her record is unusual, sir." Rodriguez nodded, his attention divided between Thompson's briefing and Maya's meticulous preparations. "Unusual how?" "She's been involved in 17 high-priority missions over the past 3 years, all classified at the highest levels. Her success rate is 100%. And several of these operations were deemed impossible by conventional standards." Master Sergeant Walsh, a grizzled veteran who had trained snipers for over 2 decades, approached the group. "Sir, I've worked with the best shooters in the military. What Sergeant Santos is claiming, it pushes the boundaries of what human capability and current technology can achieve." The target range stretched out before them, marked at various distances. At 1,500 meters, nearly a mile away, a series of targets had been positioned. To the naked eye, they were barely visible specks against the desert landscape. Maya approached the group, her equipment check complete. "Sir, atmospheric conditions are optimal this morning. Wind is steady at 8 mph from the northwest, with minimal variance across altitude levels. Temperature is steady at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and humidity is at 12%. Rodriguez was struck by how Maya spoke about environmental conditions with the precision of a meteorologist. "Sergeant, walk us through your process." Maya led them to her shooting position, a reinforced platform that provided stability and protection. Her Barrett 50 was positioned with the barrel extending through a gap in the protective barrier. Multiple computers were arranged around the position, displaying real-time environmental data, ballistic calculations, and target information. "Sir, long-range precision shooting at extreme distances requires the integration of multiple systems," Maya began. "First, environmental monitoring. These sensors provide continuous data on wind speed and direction at 7 different altitude levels between our position and the target." She pointed to a sophisticated weather station that looked more like equipment from a NASA launch than standard military gear. "Wind is the primary variable. At 1,500 meters, a 5 mef crosswind can move a bullet 36 inches off target. At 3,400 meters, that same wind becomes a 6-foot deviation." Rodriguez watched as Maya activated her ballistic computer, the screen filled with complex calculations, atmospheric models, and trajectory projections that seemed more appropriate for artillery then small arms. Next, we calculate bullet drop and flight time, Maya continued. At 1,500 meters, my 50 BMG round will drop approximately 400 inches and take roughly 3 seconds to reach the target. This means if the target moves, I need to predict their position 3 seconds in the future. Major Thompson leaned forward, fascinated by the technical complexity. How do you account for the Earth's rotation at these distances? The Coriolis effect, Maya replied immediately. At 1,500 meters, Earth's rotation will deflect the bullet approximately 4 inches to the right. At the 3,400-meter shot I made in Afghanistan, that deflection was over 18 inches. Master Sergeant Walsh shook his head in amazement. In my 23 years training snipers, we never calculated for Earth's rotation. Most of our engagements are under 800 meters. Maya adjusted her scope with precise movements, making micro-corrections based on the data streaming to her computers. Sir, extreme long-range shooting requires accounting for variables that don't significantly impact shorter distances. Temperature gradients, air density changes, even the Magnus effect from bullet spin become critical factors. Rodriguez found himself impressed not just by Maya's knowledge, but by her systematic approach. This wasn't the work of someone who had gotten lucky with an impossible shot. This was the application of advanced science and technology to military precision. Sergeant, you mentioned your Afghanistan mission required 5 hours of preparation. Why so long? Maya's expression grew more serious. Sir, that mission involved additional complications. The target was in a mountainous region with complex wind patterns. We were shooting across 3 different climate zones, from desert conditions to alpine environment. We also had to account for altitude differences of over 2,800 feet between our position and the target. She paused, checking her computers one final time. Additionally, we had only one opportunity. The target was scheduled to be in position for a maximum of 10 minutes. Miss the shot, and the opportunity would be lost, potentially resulting in continued attacks on our forces. The weight of that responsibility wasn't lost on Rodriguez. A single shot, over 2 miles away, with the lives of American servicemen hanging in the balance. I'm ready for the demonstration, sir, Maya announced. Rodriguez looked downrange at the target, a standard silhouette that appeared impossibly small at 1,500 meters. Through his binoculars, he could barely make out its outline. Maya settled into her shooting position with the fluid grace of someone who had performed this ritual hundreds of times. Her breathing slowed and became rhythmic. The Barrett 50, despite its intimidating size, seemed like a natural extension of her body. Wind holding steady, she announced quietly. Atmospheric conditions stable. Target acquired. The desert fell into absolute silence. Even the constant whisper of wind seemed to pause in anticipation. Maya's finger moved to the trigger. Her breathing stopped at the natural pause between exhale and inhale, the moment of perfect physiological stillness that precision shooters train years to achieve. The Barrett 50 erupted with a thunderous crack that echoed across the desert valley. The massive rifle's recoil, capable of bruising inexperienced shooters, was absorbed by Maya's practiced stance and the weapon's sophisticated muzzle brake. For 3 seconds, time seemed suspended. Then, through their spotting scopes, the observers saw the unmistakable impact. A perfect center mass hit on the 1,500-meter target. Master Sergeant Walsh lowered his binoculars, his expression one of professional amazement. Center mass, dead center. That's a killing shot. Rodriguez felt a chill that had nothing to do with the desert morning air. What he had just witnessed represented capabilities that could change the nature of military operations. A single soldier, with the right equipment and training, could eliminate high-value targets at distances previously considered impossible. Sergeant Santos, Rodriguez said, his voice carrying new respect. I need to understand more about your training and the programs that developed these capabilities. Maya began securing her equipment with the same methodical precision she had used to set it up. Sir, I was selected for the Advanced Long-Range Precision Program 3 years ago. It's a joint development project between Special Operations Command and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Rodriguez exchanged glances with Major Thompson. DARPA involvement explained the advanced technology and unconventional capabilities they had witnessed. As the morning sun climbed higher over the Arizona desert, Rodriguez realized that Maya Santos represented more than exceptional marksmanship. She was a glimpse into the future of warfare, where individual soldiers, equipped with advanced technology and specialized training, could accomplish missions that previously required entire units. The demonstration was over, but Rodriguez's education in the evolving nature of military capability was just beginning. That afternoon, General Rodriguez found himself in the secure briefing room deep within Camp Bravo's command center. The windowless space, lined with steel and designed to prevent electronic surveillance, felt appropriately serious for what he was about to discover. Major Thompson sat across from him, several thick files marked with the highest classification levels spread between them. General, what I'm about to show you is classified at levels that require special authorization, Thompson began, his usually casual demeanor replaced by professional gravity. Sergeant Santos's service record tells a story that will fundamentally change how you understand modern special operations. Rodriguez opened the first file, immediately noting the unusual security markings. The documents inside detailed not just Maya's military service, but her involvement in a program that seemed more like science fiction than standard military training. The Advanced Long-Range Precision Program, Rodriguez read aloud. Joint DARPA-SOCOM Initiative for Developing Next-Generation Sniper Capabilities. Thompson nodded. Sergeant Santos was one of only 12 soldiers selected nationwide for this program. The selection criteria were extraordinary, not just marksmanship ability, but psychological stability, mathematical aptitude, and what the psychologists called environmental integration capability. Rodriguez continued reading, his amazement growing with each page. Maya's training had included courses typically reserved for meteorologists, ballistics engineers, and advanced mathematics students. She had spent months at the Army's Ballistic Research Laboratory, working with scientists to understand the physics of extreme long-range shooting. Look at this training schedule, Rodriguez said, pointing to a detailed timeline. 6 months of advanced mathematics and physics, 4 months of meteorology and atmospheric science, 8 months of advanced marksmanship with experimental weapons systems. That's just the academic portion, Thompson replied, turning to another section. The field training was equally intensive. Shots at ranges from 1,800 to 3,200 meters, in every conceivable environmental condition. Desert, mountain, Arctic, jungle. They wanted to understand the absolute limits of human and technological capability. Rodriguez examined photographs from Maya's training, showing her in environments from Alaska's frozen tundra to the humid jungles of Central America. In each image, she was working with equipment that looked decades ahead of standard military issue. Her psychological profiles are fascinating, Thompson continued, opening another file. The program required soldiers who could maintain perfect focus and decision-making capability under extreme stress. Maya scored in the 99th percentile in every category. One document caught Rodriguez's attention, a detailed analysis of the Afghanistan mission that had earned Maya her 3,400-meter badge. The mission briefing read like something from a thriller novel, but the technical details were terrifyingly real. Operation Desert Falcon, Rodriguez read. Target, Abdul Rahman Qasem, high-value insurgent leader responsible for coordinating attacks on Forward Operating Base Mitchell. Standard approach deemed unacceptable due to terrain and civilian population density. The mission parameters were extraordinary. Maya and her spotter had infiltrated a mountainous region, establishing a shooting position on a ridge overlooking a valley where intelligence indicated Qasem would appear for a brief meeting with subordinates. Thompson pointed to a topographical map included in the file. Their position was here at 8,400 feet elevation. The target location was here, at 5,600 feet, exactly 3,400 meters away across the valley. The elevation change alone added complexity that most snipers never encounter. Rodriguez studied the environmental data from that day. Wind patterns were complex due to the mountainous terrain, with different speeds and directions at various altitudes. Temperature varied by over 40 degrees between the shooting position and target location. She had one shot, Rodriguez said, reading the mission constraints. Intelligence indicated Qasem would be exposed for no more than 8 minutes. 5 hours of preparation, Thompson added, for 8 minutes of opportunity, and she had to account for the fact that missing meant Qasem would disappear into the mountains, likely for months. Rodriguez turned to the next section, Maya's post-mission debriefing. Her description of the shot was clinical and precise, but reading between the lines, he could sense the enormous pressure she had faced. I calculated wind speed and direction at 7 altitude levels, Maya's report stated. Used laser rangefinding to confirm distance at 3,387 meters, adjusted for 13-degree downward angle. Temperature differential required compensation for increased bullet velocity in the cooler air at target elevation. The technical details were impressive, but what struck Rodriguez most was Maya's psychological state during the mission. According to the debriefing, she had maintained perfect composure, despite knowing that hundreds of American lives depended on her single shot. Her success rate across all missions is unprecedented, Thompson said, opening another file. 17 high-priority targets, 17 successful eliminations, distances ranging from 1,600 to 3,400 meters. Rodriguez examined the mission summaries. Each target had been a high-value individual, whose elimination had prevented significant attacks on American forces or interests. Maya's capabilities hadn't just been impressive from a technical standpoint, they had saved lives. "General, there's something else you need to know," Thompson said, his voice dropping. "The program that trained Sergeant Santos has been suspended." Rodriguez looked up sharply. "Suspended? Why?" "Budget constraints and political considerations. Some members of Congress questioned whether developing such specialized capabilities was cost-effective. The program trained 12 soldiers at a cost of approximately $2 million per individual." Rodriguez felt a surge of frustration. $2 million per soldier who can accomplish missions that would otherwise require entire platoons? That sounds like the bargain of the century. Thompson nodded. That was the argument made by program advocates. But political realities intervened. The program officially ended 6 months ago. Sergeant Santos and the other graduates have been reassigned to conventional units. Rodriguez considered the implications. Maya represented capabilities developed through years of intensive training and millions of dollars in investment, now assigned to routine duties because of bureaucratic short-sightedness. "What about her equipment?" Rodriguez asked. "Most of the specialized gear has been recalled to DARPA for analysis and storage. She's authorized to maintain her Barrett 50 and standard optics, but the advanced ballistic computers, environmental monitoring systems, and experimental ammunition have been classified as research property." Rodriguez felt a growing sense that something valuable was being wasted. Maya's demonstration that morning had proven capabilities that could revolutionize certain types of military operations, yet she was being relegated to conventional duties. "Major, I want you to prepare a detailed report on the potential applications for Sergeant Santos's capabilities within our current operational framework," Rodriguez ordered. "Include analysis of missions where her skills could provide solutions that conventional approaches cannot." As Rodriguez studied Maya's files late into the evening, he began to understand that he wasn't just dealing with an exceptional soldier, he was looking at the future of specialized military operations. The question was whether institutional bureaucracy would allow that future to be realized. The desert night was clear and star-filled. As Rodriguez finally left the secure briefing room, Maya Santos's classified files secured in the vault. Tomorrow, he would begin the process of ensuring that her extraordinary capabilities weren't lost to political expedience and bureaucratic indifference. 3 weeks later, General Rodriguez stood in his office reviewing a comprehensive proposal that would change the trajectory of advanced military operations at Camp Bravo. The morning Arizona sun streamed through his windows, illuminating documents that represented months of research, analysis, and careful political maneuvering. Major Thompson entered carrying additional files and wearing the expression of someone who had been working 18-hour days. "General, I have the final approvals from SOCOM headquarters. They've agreed to the pilot program." Rodriguez smiled for the first time in weeks. The proposal he had submitted, the Advanced Precision Operations Unit, had survived Pentagon bureaucracy, congressional scrutiny, and budget reviews. Maya Santos would not be wasted on routine assignments. "What's our authorization level?" Rodriguez asked. "Full operational authority for specialized long-range precision missions. Equipment authorization includes the latest ballistic computers, environmental monitoring systems, and experimental ammunition previously restricted to DARPA research," Thompson replied. A knock on the office door interrupted their conversation. "Enter," Rodriguez called. Maya Santos stepped into the office, her bearing professional but curious. Over the past 3 weeks, she had continued her regular duties while Rodriguez worked behind the scenes to create opportunities that matched her capabilities. "Sergeant Santos, please take a seat," Rodriguez said, gesturing to the chairs arranged in front of his desk. "Major Thompson and I have some news that will significantly impact your military career." Maya sat with the same composed attention she brought to everything she did. Rodriguez had learned to read her expressions over the past weeks, subtle changes that revealed a sharp intelligence constantly processing information. "Sergeant, 3 weeks ago you demonstrated capabilities that represent the future of specialized military operations," Rodriguez began. "What you may not realize is that your training and skills are being underutilized in conventional assignments." Rodriguez opened the folder containing his approved proposal. "I've received authorization to establish an advanced precision operations unit here at Camp Bravo. You would serve as the primary operator, with full access to the equipment and support systems necessary for extreme long-range missions." Maya's expression remained controlled, but Rodriguez caught a flicker of interest in her eyes. "Sir, what would that involve?" Major Thompson leaned forward. "Sergeant, you would return to the type of specialized missions you excelled at during your DARPA program training. High-value targets, situations where conventional approaches are impossible or too costly in terms of personnel and equipment." Rodriguez studied Maya's reaction carefully. "This isn't just about utilizing your marksmanship abilities, Sergeant. Your analytical skills, understanding of complex ballistic calculations, and ability to operate independently make you invaluable for missions requiring surgical precision. Maya considered this for several moments before responding. General, I appreciate the confidence you're placing in my abilities. The work I did previously was meaningful. Knowing that successful missions saved American lives provided purpose that routine assignments can't match. Rodriguez nodded. Maya had articulated something he had suspected, that soldiers with her specialized capabilities needed challenges worthy of their training and commitment. There's another component to this assignment, Rodriguez continued. We want you to develop training protocols for future operators. Your experience and knowledge would help create the next generation of precision specialists. This clearly appealed to Maya. Sir, the techniques and technologies I learned could benefit other soldiers. Much of the advanced ballistic calculation and environmental analysis could be taught, given proper resources and training time. Major Thompson opened another file. We've identified 3 soldiers from various units who show potential for advanced precision training. With your input, we could develop a curriculum that would expand these capabilities across the military. Rodriguez watched as Maya processed the full scope of what they were proposing. This wasn't just a return to specialized missions. It was an opportunity to shape the future of American military precision operations. Sergeant, I need you to understand the responsibility that comes with this assignment, Rodriguez said seriously. You would be the cornerstone of capabilities that could influence strategic military operations. The missions you undertake could have implications far beyond their immediate tactical objectives. Maya met his gaze directly. General, I've carried that responsibility before. The Afghanistan mission that earned my 3,400-meter badge prevented attacks that intelligence estimated would have resulted in significant American casualties. I understand the weight of precision operations. Rodriguez felt confident in his decision. Maya possessed not just the technical skills necessary for extreme long-range operations, but the psychological strength to handle the pressure and responsibility such missions required. There's one more thing, Rodriguez added. Your new assignment comes with a promotion to Staff Sergeant and assignment as team leader for the Advanced Precision Operations Unit. For the first time since entering the office, Maya smiled. Thank you, sir. This represents everything I hoped my military career could become. As the meeting concluded, Rodriguez felt satisfied that bureaucratic obstacles had not prevented exceptional capabilities from being properly utilized. Maya Santos would continue developing and applying skills that represented the cutting edge of military precision operations. 6 months later, Staff Sergeant Maya Santos stood on the same ridge in Arizona where she had first demonstrated her capabilities to General Rodriguez. But now, instead of proving herself, she was teaching 3 carefully selected soldiers the advanced techniques that had made her legendary. Environmental analysis is the foundation of extreme long-range precision, Maya explained to her students, pointing to weather monitoring equipment that had become standard for her unit. Master the science, and the shooting becomes possible. General Rodriguez watched from the observation post, pleased to see Maya's capabilities being transferred to the next generation of American snipers. The Advanced Precision Operations Unit had already completed 2 successful missions, eliminating high-value targets at distances that would have required significant conventional operations. As the desert sun set over Camp Bravo, Rodriguez reflected on how close the military had come to wasting Maya Santos's extraordinary abilities. Now, instead of being lost to bureaucratic indifference, her skills were being multiplied and institutionalized for future operations. Maya Santos had proven that exceptional capabilities, properly recognized and supported, could redefine what was possible in modern military operations. Her 3,400-meter shot in Afghanistan had been just the beginning of a career that would influence American special operations for decades to come. The Barrett 50 rifle that had first caught General Rodriguez's attention sat in its case, maintained with the same meticulous care Maya brought to everything she did. But now it was joined by advanced computers, environmental monitoring systems, and specialized equipment that represented the evolution of precision warfare. In the distance, across the Arizona desert, targets waited at ranges that most soldiers would consider impossible. For Maya Santos and the Advanced Precision Operations Unit, they represented opportunities to save American lives through the application of science, technology, and human capability. at its absolute limit. The story of the impossible shot had become the foundation for capabilities that would serve American military interests around the world, proving that exceptional individuals, given proper support and recognition, could achieve things that change the nature of warfare itself. The end. This story showcases the convergence of advanced technology, specialized training, and exceptional human capability in modern military operations. Through Maya Santos's journey from overlooked specialist to recognized expert, it illustrates how institutional support for extraordinary abilities can multiply their impact across entire military organizations.